Yo, what's up, CPS360? This is Will I Am.
Welcome to this edition of CPS360. I'm Sammy Hall. Today we'll take you all around the world with Global Village, show you the inside of pop culture and digital media classrooms, and the termination of integrated math. Elisa Pico and Sarah Nelson show us how to recycle recycled clothing. Here's the story.
While most strive to own the highest fashion items, some are turning a blind eye and making their own style. With the help from Goodwill, Rockbridge students choose to change fashion trends and make them into their own.
When I go to Goodwill, it's usually at the beginning of season, so it's like the beginning of winter, and I try to get a lot of like fun Christmas sweaters before like the massive crowds come in and like wipe them out. And then I like to go there during the fall to get stuff for Halloween, like costumes. And during the spring, I try to go to get like pants so I can make them into like shorts or just do something with them.
While students recognize the social stigma of Goodwill clothing, they have also realized to move past this and take advantage of the opportunity.
Just because the people you might associate with the idea of Goodwill or Salvation Army, it's just like people who are on like, who need help, who are getting government help, who are like, maybe don't have jobs, so like people would see you there and they'll be like, oh, I see someone I know, what are we gonna do? Awkwardly walk around each other and act like we're not here. But it's not as big of a deal as people make it.
Goodwill gives people the chance to let their creative site show at a cheap price. For CPS 360, I'm Melissa Pico.
Students interested in taking pop culture next year? We are taking you inside the classroom. Here's a taste of the class with Shane Hauska.
Students at Hickman High School are getting a rude awakening in a fairly new class, America Pop Culture.
Pop culture began 3 years ago. It was kind of we took an example from Rockbridge. Rockbridge has a pop culture class, and we wanted to add another elective here at Hickman. And so I was asked to develop a class that concerned or was around pop culture.
Looking at how race and gender are portrayed in the media to how all blockbuster movies are the same, students are shown a new way to look at life.
Well, the one thing that we do in pop culture, my goal is to get students to be aware of the world that is around them and to be critical consumers of that world. So we start looking at like, what is pop culture? Then we talk about how all pop culture is the same. We look at the formula. Then we say, what does that formula have to say about gender and race and so on and so forth? And then we start to examine what social media has. And my ultimate goal is that when students leave my class, they're able to look at that world and make their own informed, critical decisions of some of the messages that are out there for them and some of the ideas that are being pushed on them as well.
Students enjoy how the class is different from most, enjoy how the class really relates to them.
I really like the pop culture class. It's really different, but G does a really good job at teaching the class. Like his way of teaching is so much different, and it's really easy for any student to get involved in pop culture because we talk about modern ideas, like anything going on right now. So it's really easy to talk about. It's a fun class.
A class key towards showing students what is really being exposed to them every day. Something we could all use. This has been Shane Hauska with CPS 360.
Columbia Public Schools are transitioning into a new era of education. Here's Eric Lennon with the scoop on integrated math.
In previous years, 8th grade students have had an option for their math future. The traditional path, the one most traveled, begins with Algebra 1. The other choice was 4 years of integrated math.
So the difference between the integrated path and the traditional path is that while the traditional path works on a specific subject each year, like algebra or geometry, we mix all the subjects every year, always doing algebra, always doing geometry, statistics, trig.
However, the integrated math course has not been offered for the last couple years, and now integrated 4 students are the last of their kind.
We weren't learning the same things at the same time as the other classes, and so you couldn't really get help with most of the people that were in the other math classes, and you were just kind of learning off track.
While the reason for the cancellation of the course is unknown, most assume it relates to lack of interest.
It's probably because with the ACT, it works better to take algebra rather than integrated, because integrated doesn't really prepare you as much.
why I'm disappointed that the integrated is leaving is that I don't believe that kids are cookie cutters, and we're taking away every kid. Not every kid learns the same, and we're forcing everyone to learn the exact same way. While some students want the integrated pathway because they want to know why something works, as opposed to a traditional pathway, well, it's more about just telling how things work.
No, I don't think it's bad. I mean, if no one wants to take it, then why would you still have it as a course? So, I mean, I think if it's going to happen, it happens. So.
Though integrated math may soon be forgotten, these students will have fond memories of their time in it.
I've always had the same people in my class and like probably made some friends and stuff, and it's been a fun adventure.
It's just a different way of approaching the subject, and I'm disappointed that we're forcing every kid to learn in the exact same way.
Ever wonder how your phone knows exactly where you are at any given time? The Career Center's geo-spatial class is teaching students how to work in our technologically advanced world. Hunter Hughes and Grant Ragsdale bring us the story.
Geospatial technology is one of the many courses at the Columbia Area Career Center. CPS360 has the inside scoop on what GIS has to offer.
So geospatial tech is pretty much the spatial referencing of data. We pretty much look at points and try to establish like a relationship between that and the map.
One, GIS means Geographic Information Systems, and that would be something that you would describe as geography, actually placing lines on a map, doing, the outline of the city, etc. It's actual mapping of features.
GIS has a fun way of applying the skills that students learn by putting on an annual zombie project.
Well, yeah, one of the projects that the kids love every year is zombies, and we've done that 2 years now. What the kids do is they figure out if they want to be a zombie or they want to be a person trying to defend against zombies. And the cool thing about it is, without them knowing it, they're actually learning geospatial. We're looking at things, seeing a problem, and figuring out a solution.
One of the many benefits of the geospatial industry is its projected job growth in the future.
There's 100% job growth for the next 20 years in this field. So once you get out of college, you're going to find a job if you know your stuff.
One of the biggest problems that we have is students don't know anybody else that does GIS. Their mom doesn't do GIS, or their dad may not do GIS. And so a lot of kids look at their peers, their parents, their aunts, their uncles, and see what they do, and many times they follow in those footsteps. But the cool thing about GIS is it's new. It was actually created in this last 10 years. So the students now have this great opportunity to take the class, become a GIS professional, and they'll be one of the first.
One business in Columbia is doing their part to work with the community on getting healthy. Evan Twitchell has the report.
There's a hidden treasure just a short walk from Rockbridge High School. From the outside, Sweet Leaf may look like your average smoothie shop. But once you walk in, it doesn't take long to realize that it's something special.
Hey, do you know what you want? Yeah. Peanut butter honey?
All the smoothies at Sweet Leaf are actually Herbalife meal replacement shakes.
They all have 17 grams of protein in them, low sugar, low salt, low fat, and high fiber. And they're good for you, and they'll fill you up, and they're all less than 220 calories.
But what's really special about Sweet Leaf is the impact it's having on the community.
We love it, don't we?
Yeah, I come here every Wednesday after piano classes.
The staff is amazing. They're all gorgeous. They're so sweet.
I come here like 3 or 4 times a week because I'm obsessed.
Oh, he loves it. It's his favorite place. Yeah. He's 5.
Like it's dessert in a cup, so.
Oh, and also the smoothies are pretty rad.
Tamala Wyatt has been with Herbalife almost her whole life, but decided to open the nutrition club about 1.5 years ago.
I love the products. So what I did was, for the last probably 20 years, I worked my business from home, around my family, which is what I love to do, made a little part-time income. And about 1 year ago, all 3 of my kids kind of wanted to find jobs, and they didn't want to work traditional jobs, so I said, let's open a nutrition club with Herbalife, because I knew the concept. I knew the nutrition clubs were a way to kickstart healthy lifestyles in a community. So I was like, let's open one in Columbia. Let's get Columbia healthy.
Now Sweet Leaf not only helps kickstart healthy lifestyles through nutrition, but with free wellness coaching and exercise classes open to the community.
The whole Nutrition Club concept is all about kickstarting healthy lifestyles for the community. It's about helping people be aware of nutrition and educating them in meal planning and weight management and weight loss and building muscle in a healthy way. Our goal is to teach them how to do it at home and how to kickstart their healthy lifestyle at home. So we do a lot of educating through wellness evaluations, which we do free for the public. And then we also do weight loss challenges for the community. So we just launched our first free fit camp for the community. And it's 6 weeks of fitness. We have a personal trainer. But again, this whole event is free to the public.
I think it's a really great addition to the community. There are not a lot of places that you can come and sort of have your entire life turned around. And we try to provide, all of these things free to the community. So free wellness exams, boot camps, weight loss challenges, all sorts of great stuff. And then we have this wonderful product backing us, and then this great team of people here to help you with anything you need. I really think that this is something that could really help Columbia and the rest of the world, change their view on their health and know that it's attainable.
With the help of Herbalife, Sweet Leaf, and Tamala Wyatt, Columbia is becoming an even happier, healthier place. One step, one smoothie, and one story at a time.
We love Sweet Leaf.
Hickman teaches digital media at Battle. Here's a story on a new class in a new school with a new teacher. Here's Josie Englund and Garrick Stroker.
Digital media is a class that teaches all Adobe programs, including Photoshop and Premiere. The digital media students get to make their own magazine covers in Photoshop and a music video in Premiere.
I have a lot of fun with Photoshop. I think it's the program I've got the most experience in. And so it's a lot easier for me as a new teacher to be able to teach those skills because I've got a lot more experience with them. And then it's really fun to see the kids catch on to it and enjoy it as much as I do.
Students love that they can have their creative freedom.
Magazine covers, there was a lot of freedom there, creative freedom. That was really fun.
The class is loved by everybody, including Battle's teacher, Ms. Hickman.
My favorite project was obviously the music video project, just because the things that everybody came up with were amazing and so much fun to watch, and it was almost like I wasn't grading them.
This has been Garrick and Josie for CPS360.
This has been CPS360 News. Stand by after these messages to watch CPS360 Sports.
Welcome to CPS 360 Sports. I'm Evan Day. District basketball ended Saturday with 2 titles for Columbia teams. Sammy Hall brings us highlights from Rockbridge and Jeff City.
Rockridge boys basketball team faces the Jefferson City Jays in their first round of districts. At the tip-off, the Bruins get the ball. Cuse goes for a layup, and Rockbridge starts the game off with 2. The Jays respond with a 3. Later in the game, Krecklow pulls up for a 3 to begin the second quarter for the Bruins. Jeff City comes back with a layup, but are shot down with yet another 3 from Krecklow. Bruins start the second half out strong with a 7-0 run, leading the Jays. Jays come back with a 5-0 run streak, and the Jays take over for the rest of the game. Rockbridge was favored to win, but fell short to the Jays 74-62, and JC will face the Cupies in the district finals.
Jeff City then moved on to play the Hickman boys in the championship game. I was there to capture these highlights. Leading off in Columbia, Missouri at Rockbridge High School, the Hickman Cupies and the Jeff City Jays squared up for the district championship game. Douglas Johnson misses a layup, but Jimmy Wood is there to put it back for the slam, and the crowd's going wild. Then it's Douglas Johnson with an easy layup to seal the deal for the Cupies, and they win their second district championship in a row. In girls basketball, Rockbridge is seeking a three-peat. Could they get past the Cupies? Let's find out. The Rockbridge Bruins were seeking district title number 4 in a row and trying to beat the rival Hickman Cupies. It was a struggle for the Cupies, as here you see Nigel White, freshman, taking it coast to coast for the finish. The Cupies couldn't get anything going though and lost 60-25. Rockbridge's three-peat dreams stay alive as they advance. Battle is about to start their first wrestling season in history. Here is Taj Butler with a preview.
Battle Wrestling Manager LaShonda Roberts shares her hopes and dreams for the team.
I kind of had this dream that Battle's going to be this team that came in and just mutilated everybody.
But it wasn't just her dream. It was a dream that was shared amongst the wrestlers.
One of my biggest goals was just to create a program where we're building better people through the sport of wrestling, and I think that we have done that.
Last year, Coach Ben Smith was an assistant coach on the Hickman wrestling team. Now, as a head coach here at Battle, he realizes that his requirements have changed.
It has been different. I've had to do a lot more paperwork. Those were things that I never had to do in the past. I was able to really get my hands on kids and do a lot more wrestling and a lot more coaching from wrestling live with kids. And now I was the one, planning the practices and ordering the gear and scheduling, doing our schedule and planning our trips and worrying about the budget, and those were all new experiences for me.
Even with this Smith was able to create a safe haven between wrestlers and managers.
It's a lot more fun being like a first-year head coach. You can see his energy that he has, and as well, it's a lot more high-paced. So it's a lot more intense than what we did at Hickman. Not trying to degrade Hickman's experience, but we just go a lot harder and for a little bit less time.
It benefits not only the team, but how the wrestlers continue to grow as individuals. Something that would eventually get them not only through districts, but into state.
I've been working hard, trying to do the best I can, and it's been coming well so far.
Even Tate Dempsey, a junior as well as a wrestling leader, had recognized the growth his team has experienced and his hopes for the future.
Which means if I win, I went state, and if I lost, didn't, and I lost. So I was very upset. I was really pissed off. And then Muhammad went, and he won, and then Chris went, and he won, and then Dinez went, and he won. So I had that feeling of like you didn't quite live up to what you're supposed to do, but everybody else did. Just didn't quite feel good enough. But then I stopped thinking about myself, and then was like, okay, it's good. These guys, I need to be happy for these guys. These guys just did something huge. So
Smith plans to make the coming years just as eventful and open for all, and hopes to expand the wrestling program here at Muriel Battle High School.
If that's not what their goals are, then how are they ever going to achieve them? So, those would be our short-term goals, is to get those guys state medals this year. Just that I think wrestling is a great sport. I think it teaches us a lot about ourselves. It teaches us just, how far we can go mentally and how far we can go physically, and those are the types of things that make us better people. It makes us ready for all the challenges we might face as we get older, and I guess I just really believe that wrestling builds better people, and the more people that we can get to do it, the better off we are. So.
Tiger Academy recently had a change in their venue. Here's Ranjanae Hill and Kelsey Knorr with the scoop.
While in partnership with Mizzou for over 30 years, the fate of this club was now being tested as well as the strength. When Rob Drass, owner of Tiger Academy and head coach of Mizzou Gymnastics, resigned, not only were the gymnastics organization worried about their future, but also head coach Amy Butler was now faced with the difficult decision of losing her team or taking on the challenge of owning her own gym.
The university decided they didn't want Tiger Academy in their facility anymore, so I decided to then take it over. Oh, my initial reaction. Shock and disbelief, and probably a bit of panic, because I also knew that he was the owner of Tiger Academy, so what would happen to the club?
Being a first-time young business owner, Amy was faced with a difficult decision, challenging her perseverance and drive.
Of starting a business and all the things that you have to do in order to open it. Ran into that issue, but it mainly was the timing of the foam pit and relying on someone else's schedule to have that done when you have a deadline that you want to be able to open up the new facility so that the classes wouldn't stop. That was probably the biggest hurdle, but
growing up in Tiger Gymnastics, team member Lucy Kingsley's patience was tested more than ever before, because although this gym has evolved over the years, this has been the biggest hurdle she has faced.
Academy is just like my second home, and I've been here for 11 years, so I can't imagine life without it.
Ultimately, this move has worked for the best interests of everyone, being able to house more gymnasts and create more revenue.
In that we have new children at least trying out the program each week, from 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, up to beginner level.
Great! We've been doing really well since we left Mizzou. Yeah. It's easier for practice and we get more skills in. Yeah.
In the upbringing of this gym, traditions are formed with the kids, which can only bring the team closer.
Probably our lock-in will definitely be a new tradition. That's all I have right now. I'm sure there will be as time goes on, but right now I think the lock-in was a hit, and it's something that they're definitely going to look forward to every year.
Through the trials and tribulations, this gym and its members' patience has brought success at various patients. With CPS360, this is Kelsey and Ranjanae. Hang in there.
Thanks for watching. For CPS 360, I'm Evan Day.